Welcome to Tokyo Alpha, the show where normally I talk to my co-host about NFT projects in Japan, what's selling, what's not selling, what's interesting in the Japanese NFT market. And today, my co-host was supposed to show up, but he's not here yet. Hopefully, he will show up very soon. But my name is Tony Vega. I host Japan's top ranked podcast in Japan for NFTs. It's a Japanese language show. It's called NFT Nippon. We're on, Apple Podcasts, all those places, also on YouTube, completely in Japanese. And I interview, Japanese NFT creators, talk about, Japanese NFT stuff and global trends, et cetera, et cetera. And my co-host Crypto, who normally joins me, seems to have either had some trouble or forgotten because he's not here yet. So if he shows up, I'll bring him up. Now, just going to start by talking about some of the stuff that what I've been doing, what I've been buying, if I bought anything. Normally I would start by asking Crypto where he is, but since he's not here, I can't ask him. Okay, so what have I bought lately? So lately, let me see. So last week we talked about Kurenai, which is a pretty big project in Japan. It launched on December 17th of last year, and it got a lot of attention. But the floor hasn't moved that much. I mean, the mint price was 0.026, and it's been kind of going up and down between 0.04 and 0.09, mainly around 0.06. And so I bought a couple. No, I bought like 4, then I sold 2, and then I started buying more, and now I think I'm at like 7. I think I have 7. I bought like 1 or 2 more in the past week. The floor has been in the 0.06 area, but now it's down to like 0.052. But the listings are going down. So I think, you just got to be patient. Like if, I can't guarantee what's going to happen with the price, but I think Kurenai will probably move up eventually. It's just that there's a lot of sell pressure. It seems like so let's see. There's a 9,071 supply, and there's 11% listed right now. So that is almost 1,000, or roughly 1,000. And up until recently, it was like 13 and 12%. So it's taking a while to eat through all that, the short-term kind of flipper people, but I think eventually it probably will. The volume is not like super crazy or anything, but it's been really steady. So that's encouraging. That shows that there's still interest from the Japanese side, even though it's been. I think next week it'll be a week since release. I mean, a month since release. That's a really long time in NFT land. So, if it can still keep attention, keep generating sales after almost a month, I think that's pretty, that's a good sign. That's a good sign. So, the floor is going down for now, but I'm not too worried. It's more of a long-term thing. We've seen multiple Japanese NFT projects. They have these big pumps sometimes, like a month after, maybe sometimes 2, 3, 4 weeks after they release, sometimes several months after they release. And it's for various reasons. One of the ones, I can give multiple examples of this, but for example, let's see, Space Crocos is the one that's been kind of at the forefront of everybody's attention in the past few days. So Space Crocos was a project that came out, I think it was like 3 or 4 months ago, and it didn't do too well at the beginning. The floor was, I don't know, maybe like 0.02 or something like that. It was really low. And it didn't really capture the attention of the larger space. It was a really kind of, it came and went kind of mint. But, my understanding was that there were people active in the community, in the Discord, even, from the beginning, but even after mint. And then I guess around a week ago, or maybe a little bit less, something happened where it started selling, and last I checked it was like 0.37. So if you bought the bottom, it was super cheap, right? Like 0.02 or maybe even less. I'm not even sure, because it was it really wasn't selling at all. Like at the beginning, it wasn't doing any really significant volume, but that thing pumped like crazy, and right now it's probably close to 0.4. So my understanding is, I don't know all the details, but my understanding is that it has something to do with Ikehaya-san, and or Crypto Ninja Partners. So Ikehaya-san is like Japan's biggest like NFT influencer. I think that's not too much of an exaggeration. He's in terms of followers and influence overall, he's pretty much like the guy. And then oh, do we have a? Oh, okay, sorry. It seemed like we had a request, but no. And then Crypto Ninja Partners is of course the biggest project in terms of like overall supply on the market and volume and floor price. Like if you take like an overall comprehensive view, I mean I think CMP is kind of like the top dog, uh, and so yeah, like anything that teams up with them or has some connection has done well in the past 3, 4, 5 months. So I think the main guy behind Space Crocos, Krypton is his name, or well, the name he goes by, and he I don't know all the details. He did some kind of fan art thing, and now there's some kind of partnership, or they're going to work on something together. You know, him and Ikehaya-san. And so then that drove the floor, and then Ikehaya-san has a private Discord, like Alpha Group, and so a lot of the people got, from there started sweeping the floor, I believe, and then of course, once that starts going, then it leads to a whole like run on the collection. So, yeah, the floor went up very quickly. Uh, and another interesting thing is that in a lot of these Japanese collections, because the listings are so low, especially on these old collections, like the old collections, people, I don't know, they delist and they forget to list, or they just don't list and they just kind of forget about the project. And so the listings can go down really low sometimes. And then if you get a little bit of volume, the floor can go up really quick, and then you get the whole chain reaction. So Space Crocos, like I said, is one of these older projects that can kind of pump like sometimes weeks or months after release, and it can just kind of catch you by surprise because I wasn't expecting Space Crocos to pump. I saw it when it launched and I was like, oh, okay, like it's just another project, but I didn't really think about it because it wasn't a project for me, right? Like I wasn't intending to join the community, so I just kind of looked over it. But yeah, months afterwards, it just kind of went crazy. And then another project that in recent, maybe like 2 weeks, in the past 2 weeks, has pumped like crazy, is, well, more than 2 weeks, like 3 or 4 weeks. But anyway, yeah, Neo Stackey. We've talked about it on the show before, Neo Stackey. Yeah, so we started getting some sweeps. Some friends of Kosei, the founder, started sweeping the floor, and then there was something that really took it over the edge, which was an announcement from, again, Crypto Ninja Partners. Ninja DAO is kind of their main, their big organization. But the announcement was that if you hold a Neo Stackey, then you will get to mint. Basically, it's a white list pass to mint. I guess it's their next big project, but it's called Crypto Ninja World. So Crypto Ninja World is a 10,000 item generative collection, and it's based on the Genesis Crypto Ninja collection. So the Crypto Ninja collection is the thing that started everything for Ninja DAO. So Ikehaya-san, like I said, he's like the main kind of big NFT influencer in Japan, and then he started this project 2021, I think it was like September or August or September. And he was just releasing like one of ones. They were these various like ninja themed characters. And these things have sold in the past for like, 7, 8, 9, 10 ETH or something like that. And he's gotten notable people to buy in and be his holders. He's got some good connections, and he got very good attention very early on in the market. Like even before people started releasing generative projects, Ikehaya-san was doing Crypto Ninja, and he was very influential even back then. But Crypto Ninja Partners came much later. That came in May, I think, of last year. So it was a long time before they released a big, generative project. But anyway, so this new generative project, which is coming out, I believe at the end of February, is called Crypto Ninja World, and this one is based on the main Genesis Crypto Ninja collection. So the Partners collection is based on kind of little sidekicks of the main Crypto Ninja characters, and then Crypto Ninja World is based on the main characters of the Crypto Ninja, characters. Um, so this is going to be a 10,000 collection. I don't know if it's going to be 0.001 or 0.005, but they, all the Ninja DAO projects or connected projects, they're always like super, super cheap. So it's going to be a cheap one. But the thing is that up until now, you had to be basically like hand selected, or you had to show that you weren't like a flipper and you weren't selling your Crypto Ninja partners in order to get whitelists for future Ninja DAO projects. But here's the thing. So now you can just be a holder of Stackey or this other project, Tokyo Alternative Girls. This one came out in November. I think it was November. And this one pumped quite a bit as well. So now it's like 0.218, something like that. And the thing about Tokyo Alternative Girls is you have to buy 5. So you have to be a holder of 5 in order to get the whitelist for Crypto Ninja World. So you can either have one Stackey, which the floor is around 1.3, or you can have 5 Tokyo Alternative Girls, and the floor is about 0.22. So Tokyo Alternative Girls is a little bit cheaper, but I mean not by a huge amount, but just a little bit cheaper. So what does that tell me? That tells me that the general market feels that the floor on Crypto Ninja World is probably going to be at least 1 ETH from the beginning. And then from there, we'll see what happens. But because, for example, like Live Like a Cat, LLAC, that was completely handpicked. So it's different from this. This is like, if you have the money, you can buy in, which tells me that maybe there's going to be people that would sell a little bit sooner than some of the LLAC people would. So maybe in the beginning, the floor might not move so quickly like it did with LLAC, but I really doubt that the general Ninja DAO, Crypto Ninja Partners, Crypto Ninja community is not going to be buying in on the secondary. So I think it's still going to be pretty low listings, and there is going to be some movement upwards, probably. No guarantees, but probably, simply because that's what always happens with these Crypto Ninja connected projects. So again, that's Ninja, what is it called? Crypto Ninja World. It should be coming out at the end of February. And if you're interested, well, I don't know if there's any other ways to get in aside from maybe being a Crypto Ninja Partners holder. I don't know about that, but right now, one of the ways in is, the main ways in that they've talked about is Stackey or Tokyo Alternative Girls, but you have to spend more than 1 ETH on that. So if you have the ETH to lock up for at least, a month or more than a month, and then, I don't know, you want to hold it, it's just, I can't tell you to buy anything. That's completely up to you, but that's quite a bit of money to if you want to buy in. So that's totally your call. I am not spending any money on that. Unfortunately, I did have 2 Stackeys, and I sold them kind of early because I thought the market was not looking good. And so even though I thought the project would probably do okay in the long term, I just didn't feel good about the market, so I decided to sell. And I guess maybe that wasn't the best move, because if I had 2, that means I'd probably have like 2.6 ETH right now, because if I sold it. But oh well, hey, that's what happens, right? You can't predict everything. So another interesting thing that I noticed was a project called Tougenkyou. That one also launched on December 17th in Japan. This one was another kind of hype project, and it got a little overshadowed by Live Like a Cat and all that stuff that minted on the same day. This one is holding really, really strong. The Japanese community is not like selling short term, it seems, and the floor has gone up from like 0.06. It's now close to like around 0.08. And there's very little volume, but people aren't really undercutting, so it's holding strong and it's moving up little by little. We'll see what happens in the long term. I can't really say, but I do have 3 of them, and I'm just holding. I mean, the artist is very well known, and the team is super well known and connected, so I feel fine holding for an indefinite amount of time. So I would recommend you do your own research if you're interested in that. But so far it's holding okay. It's it's a long term thing. You don't expect some sort of like it's going to moon like overnight or anything. But hey, that's how it is. You never know. All right, so let's see. There really weren't any major mints this past weekend. Things were very quiet this past weekend, aside from the craziness with Space Crocos. In general, like all the Ikehaya-san connected projects have done pretty well. What's it called? Shikibu World and Owl Panda, and of course Crypto Ninja Partners and LAC, and probably other ones connected to him, and even some non-connected projects have been moving up. And I think that's just a general. The market is doing well right now. January tends to. Last year, January was also very good for NFTs. So maybe in Japan it's the same thing. I don't know. Tax loss harvesting is over, and people are feeling like they want to spend some money, and so that was going on. And then one last thing that I'll add about Crypto Ninja and Ikehaya-san, he announced that if you hold one Owl Panda and one LLAC and one Crypto Ninja partner, you get access to one of his like an alpha channel in his private Discord. So up until now, it was 10 CMPs, and then you get access to the what's it called, the alpha channel in his private Discord. But now he created a second tier, I believe. I'm not in it, so I can't say exactly for sure. But my understanding is that he created a lower tier. I don't know exactly what the difference is, but it's a lower tier where if you have one of each of those projects, you can get in. And in order to get into ICL, which is the name of his private Discord, Ikehaya Crypto Labo, I believe, you have to pay like, I think it's like Q-Mayan, so that's like 90,000 ish yen, which is like $700. And then on top of that, you have to hold, either one of each of those projects or 10 CMPs to get into the alpha channel. So when he announced that, the Owl Panda party floor, it went up quite a bit. It was around 0.7 to 0.8, and now it's in the 1.3 area. So it bounced pretty hard. And then Umino-san has been working on her own stuff aside from anything Ikehaya-san connected. I think she's working on some deals with some company in Korea or something like that. So Owl Panda is doing quite well. It finally had the bounce that many of us were expecting. I was expecting one eventually, but I did sell most of my supply. I'm down to one just because I wanted to get some cash off the table, and I'm happy holding one for the long term. But yeah, I think she's working hard, and the community is very much still standing by her side. So that's a really rough summary of some of the stuff that has been going on. I do want to bring up a few stuff that is coming up. So some stuff to keep an eye on. And seems like crypto is not here. So man, I don't know. Maybe he fell asleep. Anyway, I'll tease him later. But, so okay, so I got a couple projects that we haven't talked about before. So the first one is 666 project. So I posted a link in the comments for 6maker. So 6maker. Yeah, that was in the fall of 2021, and super hard for over a year. I I feel comfortable saying, we're kind of friends. Like I've gotten to know him. I've interviewed him. I DM him. I DM with him, semi regularly. I do hold his works, and I do have whitelist for the project that I'm going to be talking about. So just so you know, you can say I'm biased, but I'm just going to give you the general info, and you can make your own decision. But I do think that he's just a super hardworking guy, super talented guy, and just I like him as an artist, and as a person too. I really get along with him. So again, 6maker, number 6maker, MAKER. But anyway, the project is called 666 project. And he up until now he's just been doing one of ones, and this project is kind of one of ones, but it's kind of not. So it's a small art collection. It's 666. because his name is Six Maker, so he's going with the whole 666 thing. Nothing to do with the devil. So just the 666 because of Six Maker. So anyway, 666 supply. And the NFTs are interesting in that, so he drew, I think it's 50 items, 50 pieces of one artwork. And his whole like artwork is like muscular, cute girls. So kind of like girls that you might see in a fighting game, kind of like Chun-Li in Street Fighter 2. They're these very fit, kind of like they might be like bodybuilders, or they might be like in a fighting game, but they're also very cute, and he's a very talented artist too. So they just look really nice. So that's kind of his thing, right? That's everybody knows him for that. And in this new collection, what he did was I think he drew 50. It might be more than 50. I can't remember exactly. He drew a lot of one pieces, all modeled around sports, all inspired around sports. So there are these cute maid character, like the cute maid character that he draws doing different sports. And so the NFT that you get in the 666 project, it changes, I think, like twice a month or once a month. Like the image changes. So each of these one of ones, like it keeps rotating. But there's a game kind of aspect to this where if you buy into 5, you can switch it out for a protein, right? Because they're kind of like muscular girls, right? So you can burn your 5 for a protein, and then what you can do is you can keep the protein, and you can get one of the one of ones from his collection, from the pieces that he drew, in order to make this like rotating art in the collection, in the 666 collection. Or you can use the protein to buy from his main Genesis collection when he lists one, because these always like sell immediately. Like it's so tough to get one. He lists like randomly, and people always like buy it immediately. So it's so tough to get one. So if you want to get one from his Genesis collection, you can use the protein to reserve it so that you can get a private sale. Well, you can just change it out, right? You can switch it out. So and the price is 0.033, I think. So basically, if you're able to mint 5, the price is pretty much the same as buying one of his one of one pieces. So the whole system makes sense, right? Like if you mint 5, you're paying the same amount that you would pay for a one of one piece. And if you want that one of one piece, you can burn the 5 and get the one of one piece, or you can hold the 5 NFTs, or you can burn the 5 and just hold on to the protein, and you can have that option of burning it for the body, the main collection, or the special collection that he made for this new collection, right? The one of one collection. So there's a fun kind of gamified aspect to it. He's got a super core fan base, of which I'm one person. The marketing has been going very well. He's been doing tons of spaces with well-known people. I think he's going to be doing a space with Neo Tokyo Punks, one of Japan's most well-known projects. And I'm probably going to be doing a space with him as well, and I'm going to be interviewing him for a second time on the show. I am like I'm a partner for the project. Like basically, like he's asked me for some advice, and we've had a meeting, and I'm going to have a meeting with him tonight, just as he's curious. He wants my opinions on some things, and so I'm going to do that. But I like the project. I like that this is different from most of the stuff we've been seeing over the past couple months, because Japan has gone in a crazy like generative fever frenzy, where it's been weeks of just 5 generative projects this week, and 2 the next week, and 3 the next week, and 10,000 and 22,000, and just nonstop generative projects. And so this one is different, and you can get the one of ones if you get enough of the original. So that's gonna that could create some buy pressure. If you're not able to buy all 5, then maybe you pick one up off the secondary. So that might be nice, but regardless of that kind of trader aspect, I can't say what's going to happen with the floor. I can simply say that given what I've seen of how strong his following is and how much people love his art, I am not worried that he's not going to be able to sell out. I'm pretty confident that thing's going to sell out no problem. And I also did a whitelist giveaway for him in the past couple days, and the engagement on that tweet, the retweets and the entries and the likes and the comments and the quote retweets on that were crazy. I mean, that was one of my best performing whitelist giveaways and one of my best performing tweets ever. So that, I think that shows quite strongly that there's a lot of interest in him and the project, because most people, they just can't buy the one of ones. That thing always sells before the one of ones, before anybody can get access to it, because somebody's always there to buy it really quickly. And then the secondary is like 0.3 usually for the one of ones. So, that it's not super, super expensive, but it's also not cheap, right? 0.3 is a good chunk of money. So, people aren't, buying the secondaries like crazy. People do buy it from secondary, but if they can get in for 0.15, then, they're going to move over to the 666 project to try to get 5, and then, maybe burn it for a one of one, which is the really difficult thing to get. So, yeah, that's 666 project. I know they're still passing out whitelists. So if you're interested, I highly recommend you check out his Discord, because he does have quite a few non-Japanese holders, and he does put out information in English. I know he's done a lot of commission work for like Clone X holders, and I think some Azuki holders. He's got a good following in like I think like the Killer GF, people connected to those projects. He was very active doing like fan art and commissions for those communities, and he built up quite a few holders from the global community. So, yeah, it's an interesting project. I'm not saying it's a good short-term flip or anything. I'm just saying like he's a solid artist, and he's one of the most hardworking people around in the Japanese NFT space. So, I'm totally happy to support him and his art. So I've been holding for a few months, and I'm going to buy into this happily, and I'll probably be holding for a long time. Probably, I don't intend to sell anytime soon. So, yeah, still don't see crypto. I was going to go through the whole show, and crypto's not going to be here. Okay, so that's 666 project, link in the comments, but you can just look up Sixmaker NFT, and you will be able to find him right away. He's got a good solid Twitter, over 10,000 followers, over 12,000 I think. Next project I wanted to bring up, so this one I also did a whitelist giveaway for. It's called Cry Wolves. CRYWOLVES. I think I put the Twitter link in the comments, but the Twitter handle is @CryWolvesPJ. So this one is somebody that I met via John Smith on Chain, the NFT project that I was helping out with. The creator of that project introduced me to Nishikawa. He's the creator of Cry Wolves, and this project is so it's an 11,111. And currently the whitelist mint is going on right now. And I did get whitelist because he said, oh, if you help me out, I'll give you one. It's like, oh, okay, whatever, like I was already talking to him anyway, so I would have happily helped him out, but he just gave me a whitelist anyway. So yeah, I minted, the max mint on this is 30. So for 0.001, you can mint, one, but you can mint up to 30, and that was 0.03. So I minted my 30, whatever. I think around 1,000 have minted out so far, but I think more will mint out tonight because Japan, people are working the stuff they can't mint. But then the public mint is 0.003, and it's going to be on the 13th, so a little under 2 days from now, on the 13th at 11:11 a.m. Japan time. So figure that out for yourself. 11:11 Japan time. It's going to be 0.003, and I don't think there's a max mint limit. I mean, maybe you're going to have to do multiple transactions if you want to mint more, but per transaction, I'm not sure what the exact limit is. Now, this project, I told Nishikawa-san himself, I've told people, I think the marketing was weak on this. He's only got 1,200 something followers. But he's a nice guy. I like him. I like him from my interactions with him. I've talked to him quite a bit, and he's asked me for advice and stuff, and I've told him, my opinions on things, and maybe a few things he should change here and there. But this is pretty much it's almost like a solo project. He's kind of doing this, and his kind of bigger goal is to do a DAO-ish kind of online like e-commerce site where they kind of run it together with the community, and they can produce products and sell products, and maybe do collabs with other projects and stuff like that. And apparently he's got connections with like warehouses and stuff in like China and the US and stuff. I'm not sure what his like day job is, but I'm assuming maybe that's why he has these connections. So the concept is interesting, but it's just that the marketing has been weak. But I do think that for 0.003, there's certainly a good chance that it could sell out, once it gets to public, because it's just such a cheap price. So I know that I did a whitelist giveaway in English, so I know that some foreign traders are paying attention to this. I saw his English channel, and there are people in there. And I've mentioned this to a few people, and so people are aware of it. I think there's a good chance it could sell out. So up to you if you want to try to get in on the public mint. But I do have my 30 from my whitelist mint, so I'm going to be holding them because it's just such a low risk. It's like whatever, buy it, see what happens, and I'm happy to support him because he just seems, from what I've talked to him, multiple times since November, he's been a very nice guy, and so I hope it goes well for him. But I really can't say. Like he's some super well connected guy, and Ike-Haya-san is going to say, hey, this is I can't say any of that. I mean, this very well maybe he's going to get very little secondary volume, perhaps. That's certainly possible. But you know how it is, right? Like when the degens get into something, if word gets around and they jump in, they start buying, and then they start buying whatever. Like, I mean, just look at FeetPix, right? Like FeetPix was like a super low bid price, and these silly like generative feet pixel art pictures, and last I checked the floor was like 0.085. So if FeetPix can go on a run, I mean anything can go on a run. So just maybe something to keep an eye on if you're interested in taking a kind of more swing on the degen side, I guess. Cry wolves. Let's give a quick check. Here is no, sorry, no crypto. I don't think so. I'm gonna do the whole show, no crypto. Okay, all right. So yeah, for anybody that jumped in halfway through, but yeah, crypto is my co-host, and I was talking to him right before the show on DMs, and he just disappeared. All right. And then one other project that I wanted to bring up. Well, actually, crypto was going to bring this one up, but it's called. Yeah, it's called What's Up, John. We mentioned this one last week. It's going to be minting on the 20th, I think. I think he said it was the 20th. And this is a small collection. I think it's probably only like 500. And they have a very kind of whitelist, selective whitelist. So they're being very careful who they're giving whitelists to. And they're not like doing whitelist giveaways, I think. And the mint price is a little bit high. I think it's probably around like the 0.1 area. So they're just being very choosy about who they give this to. So that's a good sign long term, right? Like they're being very careful about who they give it to. They're not just giving it to anybody, and they're building a community. And so again, it's called What's Up, John. I believe I put a link in the comments if you're curious about that. And I know the Genesis collection was selling for a good amount. And that's a small collection, but not really like a lot of volume. I think just big sales and the opening on the initial listing or auction, and then people are just listing really high because they don't intend to sell. So it's looking interesting, but I unfortunately I can't say too much about exactly what the project is about. I think crypto knows a bit more about it. But I do think it has something to do with like street fashion and clothes and that kind of thing. I think they're trying to kind of develop a brand. The original collection is called Skater John, so maybe it's like I think it's like a street fashion kind of thing. So, but the Genesis, the small Genesis collection is called What's Up, John. So if you're curious about that, yeah, I mean, you're going to have to jump in the Discord and really kind of show your interest and be kind of sincere. Because my understanding is that they're being very picky about who they give the whitelist spots to. So again, called What's Up, John, link in the comments to this space. So that is basically what I wanted to bring up. I can't think of any like super notable mints coming this weekend. Maybe there's something, but unfortunately, I don't know everything. I do miss stuff. Like last week, there was a mint. It was called like Dala Dala, like Dala. I think like Dada Dada in Japanese means like to kind of be lazy or something like that, or to be, yeah, kind of lazy, I guess would be the best word. Um, I don't really know anything about that project. It just kind of popped up, and it wasn't notable like it wasn't getting any like hype or anything like that. So I don't know. Maybe there's something interesting to it, but I don't know. But if you're curious about Japanese NFTs, I do recommend checking out NFTranking.jp. That is a good site that ranks Japan projects by volume on a daily basis. I believe you can switch it over to like a weekly or monthly, ranking. And so, of course, the top projects get the most volume for that day, and so they rank at the top. And then, the lower you go, the less volume they get. But on the weekends especially, right, like the day after, you get to see like which new projects are kind of making their way to the top, because most projects, they do the most volume at the beginning and they kind of fade out. So that's one of the main ways that I keep track of like what's kind of selling and what's going on. So again, NFTranking.jp, and you'll see a lot of the same projects, around the same top 20. uh, Not that different from the global rankings where you kind of see the same projects, at the top. But yeah, it's a good entry, and then you can click on the links and learn more about the projects, little by little, right? So, but overall, things are doing okay in the Japanese market. I'm seeing, I'm curious to see if this kind of general pump and general good volume keeps up. Hope it does, because at the end of December things were looking pretty bad. So right now we're doing okay, but the next big mints are coming soon. I think in February there will be something. Oh, did I say? Oh yeah, 666 project. I think the release is like the first half of February. So there you go on that. And then Cry Wolves again. That's the 13th at 11:11 a.m. And then end of February, Crypto Ninja World. And then March, I think, is the Mafia Animals, which is another highly anticipated Ikehaya-san slash Crypto Ninja connected project. The Mafia Animals, we've talked about them, multiple times on the show months ago. So that's another one to keep an eye on. And then Neo Tokyo Punks, their second collection, I think, is coming out in March as well. So that might be another one to keep an eye on if you don't feel like spending like 0.7, 0.8 ETH on the Genesis collection. And you're curious about the Neo Tokyo Punks community and all that, you might be interested in getting the second collection, which is kind of a more cute, cool, still cool, but cute, like wolf character called Roars. And that one, I don't know the mint price yet. I don't know the supply yet. But Nico-san, the creator of Neo Tokyo Punks, very, very popular. So I'm sure it will sell out. I have no idea what will happen with the floor. Full disclosure, I hold multiple Neo Tokyo Punks, so you can say I'm biased. I do like the community, but that's just my opinion. But I think Neo Tokyo Punks is easily one of the most well-known collections in Japan, and it's been able to hold a pretty high floor for Japan standards for a very long time. They launched back in March, and their floor tends to be around 0.7 to 0.8 these days. So I think that's a pretty darn good accomplishment in the Japanese market. So that is it for me. But I will just say, if somebody has, I do see a request. I was just going to say, if you have a question or something, I'm happy to spend a couple minutes on that. I will bring you up. Let's see. 1 second. Give me a second. Uh, King. All right, King. Give me a second and I'll bring you up. If you have a question or you want to add something, happy to hear you out. All right, there you go. So you should be able to come up.
Hey man, how are you? Can you hear me properly? Hello? Are you able,
All right, your speaker now.
are you able to hear me properly? Am I coming in clear?
Hello, King.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Can you hear
Can you hear
me?
me? I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Oh, I think you unmuted. Let's see.
Hey, am I coming in clear?
Hello,
Am I
hello.
coming in? I'm coming clear.
I
Testing.
can't hear you. Give me a second. Hello, hello. Oh, you. Oh, I guess you dropped out, huh? Okay. Yeah, I'll bring you back up. Let's try again, King. I was worried it was on my end, but let's see. Let's give that one more shot. So, King, what's up?
Hey, can you hear me? Can you hear me now?
Hello,
Am I
hello.
good? Am I good? Testing, testing.
I see you're a speaker, but oh, now you're back on mute,
Hey, can you hear me properly? Hello? Hello? Tony,
and you're not on mute, but I don't see that your audio is coming in.
Tony, can you hear me? Can you hear me?
I'm not sure what is going on. I don't think the problem is on my end because I don't see the little audio like indicator lighting up on your side. Seems like King is having some internet trouble. I see him connecting. If anybody else has a question they want to come up, I'm happy to have you come up. I do have a few more minutes. Um, so while we wait for King to figure that out, if anybody else feels like jumping in, happy to have you. Otherwise, I'll close out the space. Okay, King, one more time. Let's give it one more shot. Hopefully this time it'll work out. So I'm going to add you one more time. And if not, it may have to be for another time.
All right, hello?
In the
Can you hear
meantime,
me?
guys, follow Yuka-san. She's at the top of the
Am
space.
I
Follow
good?
her. She's a cool artist in Japan.
Can you hear me now?
Very well-known artist. So go follow her. Check her stuff out.
Tony, can
She does a lot of commissions for Azuki too. Like she's super popular in the Azuki community. And actually, the Azuki community gave her an Azuki because of all her work. So she's got a crazy story. I've interviewed her for my Japanese show, and I love what she's doing. So you can follow her, check out her stuff.
Tony, can you hear me? Tony.
So
Tony.
King, you are a speaker now,
Tony, can you
and
hear me?
I hope your audio can come in now. Your little audio indicator is not going off. You just muted again. I'm not sure. It seems like you're having trouble with your microphone or maybe your general internet connection.
Tony, can you hear me
Yeah, you're
now?
still on. Okay, now you're
Can you hear
unmuted,
me? Am I good?
and I can't hear you, and I don't see the little indicator
Oh,
saying that audio is coming in on your
oh
side.
man.
So it might be an issue with your microphone or internet connection, unfortunately. So King, I'm sorry. I'm just gonna have to leave it at that. Last chance for anybody else that wanted to get on. Last chance. Okay, King. Last chance. Last chance with King. Let's see. He requested again. King really wants to come up. So come on, King. You can do it.
Okay.
You can do it, King. Come
Can you
on.
hear me? Can you hear me? Is anyone able to hear me? Hello?
King is trying his hardest to get on the
Hello?
stage. King is a speaker,
Hello?
but will King be able to speak? I don't know.
Hello?
King's audio is not coming in.
Oh my
We
god.
cannot hear you, King.
This is
So, King,
so bad.
I'm very sorry, but I'm going to be closing out the space because it seems like you're having internet issues. But I do this show every week. And then Saturdays at 10 a.m. Japan time, I do another space, which is a little bit more bilingual. It's a little bit more loose. Sometimes we talk about, mostly we talk about NFT stuff. We don't really talk about upcoming projects. We talk about, what's happened and just interesting general talk. Sometimes we talk about food and just life and just general stuff and some NFT stuff. So and some Japanese creators sometimes they come and they talk about their collections. So that's Japan time, 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. Saturday mornings. So if you're curious about that, go follow me at the Vega Tony. That's where I tweet out, all my, spaces and all that. And then all the Tokyo Alpha stuff is from at Tokyo Alpha HQ. So yeah, follow both. And then,
Can
I
you hear
tweet
me?
general
Tony.
NFT, Japan NFT related stuff in English
Tony.
on Tokyo Alpha. And then Japanese and English and random stuff over on at the Vegatoni. All right, so go check that stuff out. So, guys, thank you so much for coming, King. I'm so sorry. I see you're a speaker, but your audio is not coming in. So, King, unfortunately, this time we were not able to talk, but I hope we can talk some other time. So just come back, follow, and maybe next time your internet or whatever's going on will be better. So thank you, and I'll talk to you next week. Bye.